you're making that statement not just from a fuzzy, hey, the world should be more fun perspective, but also, and this also matters numerically to businesses and as a strategy for sort of increasing growth and increasing monetization as well.
Yeah, what's great is we can make it more fun and we can measure whether that has business value to us. So you can test, in a 5-minute link test or in a 1-week feature test, you can test the impact of new fun mechanics on your consumer service offering and then build it, if people love it. LinkedIn, I could think of, a half dozen ways that LinkedIn could be more of a game and be way more fun and addictive. I mean, to the point where people maybe have to check it, 5 times a day.
And I think DJ's ready to hire you for some consulting inside.
I want DJ advised us early on, so I owe him.
Yeah, I don't think it's DJ's problem necessarily per se, but LinkedIn's doing all right too. But on that note, I guess I want to sort of pivot and talk a little bit about platforms because I know you guys, a large percentage of growth is on Facebook, but there are other platforms that you guys spend a lot of time on. In particular, the iPhone platform is where you spend a lot of time. And I'm guessing at least a fair amount of monetization is also happening on iPhone as well. Could you talk about sort of where you see opportunity both in terms of growth and monetization, and what platforms you guys are spending time on that you think are interesting now and looking forward?
Sure. So first of all, anywhere that we think that social gaming could thrive, we will go. So we will go and invest in any social platform that has some kind of social map and pictures and some kind of API.
What do you think is critical mass there? 50 million users, 100 million users? Are those the factors, or is it more
all we care about is DAUs, daily active users. So I also step back at a macro level. I also think that part of this third business plan of the internet is going to be this app economy. So I believe that 18 months from now, I don't think anybody is going to work on a consumer service that isn't distributed as an app. So that's also my myopic view. I'm sure that is overstating it and wrong, but that's how I see it. And I think that what we'll see in the next year or less is everyone who has a large user base is going to be competing in the app economy, and they're all going to be measured by DAUs. So how many DAUs do they have, and how many DAUs do app developers have on them? And I think that the fact that Facebook has 1 million developers developing for them, it's ultimately going to make it hard for Google, MSN.
So wait a second. Really, are you saying that there are actually 1 million people developing on Facebook? I mean, there's a vast difference between people in a shop who install some of the apps that allow you to create apps on Facebook.
This is all
shops that really develop.
I'm just spouting Facebook propaganda. I don't know that. I don't know.
I mean, I'm a big believer in a lot of that.
Well, I don't know what the number is. Even if it's 100,000.
Right.
I mean, look, I have an entire company that's just focused on engineering for the benefit of Facebook users. But my point is, we're not spending any time trying to build anything cool for Google or MSN or Yahoo.
I think that's really an astonishing statement, and I would agree with you.
And I don't know how many developers there are for iPhone, and eventually, maybe Pre. But I think that at some point, Google, MSN, Yahoo, anyone who has a large user base is going to be at risk of losing those users in the same way that Apple lost users to Windows. So
do you think Microsoft's in more of a world of hurt than MySpace in that light, or? Well,
they have many businesses, some of which are monopolies that will carry them. But I think MSN is in trouble. And also, I'm curious what you guys think about this. I started wondering, why should Google care at all about the app economy? I mean, they're on top of the world. They make more money than any company could ever need to make. So why would Google care? So they don't need necessarily more users or more money. What if Google is the king of the public web, but what if there's this social web that ultimately is bigger than the public web, and Google has no access to it? I mean, what if future monetization is more dependent on the social web than it is on search monetization? Yeah, so it's interesting if Google becomes the go-to place for anything you do with the public web. So it's like better than the yellow pages, it's discovery for the public web, but it has no relevance anymore to the social web. And if more of the content creation on the internet is social web, and Google's locked out because there's a login they don't have, it just is interesting. I mean, they could all of a sudden be worried that they're kind of not able to show you that.
So, I mean, there's one thing I've sort of said before is I feel like there's this holy trinity of e-commerce that's coming that's based on single sign-on experience, access to a friends list, and then access to an integrated payment system. And right now, nobody's completely solved that problem, but Facebook looks like they're the first that's going to get there. And there's a few other companies that maybe are on the wings that are trying to get there. But what do you look like? So do you think that payments is also part of that story? And who do you see as delivering on that with at large scale right now?
I think it's totally TBD. I mean, I think that I don't know how it's going to play out. I think there will be several industries created around it. I look at how much we've had to build in-house that we would have skipped if PayPal had provided it for us.
Or Facebook.
Or Facebook. I think there's going to be companies and industries built around, even if Facebook does payments, there'll still be companies built around managing fraud, and there'll be companies in the business of credit ratings for consumers of virtual goods. There'll be companies built in creating customer support and community management that's integrated to those fraud systems. I think Facebook has an amazing opportunity to be this e-wallet in a way that could be massively accretive, and it could accelerate the whole virtual goods opportunity.
But there are other competitors also, jumping in there. Where rumored that Slide might be doing some payment systems. Certainly Zong and a couple of the companies here in Social Gold.
I don't think any of it's mutually exclusive. I think there's so many problems that the part that might be mutually exclusive, but I can see it having a stack and getting layered. Facebook is in the best position to be the e-wallet for Facebook users and probably FB Connect users. It doesn't mean that other companies like a Zong or PayPal or Slide couldn't provide all kinds of parts of that service that Facebook can't do.
Do you think that Apple or the iPhone/iTunes, has a stake in that? Are they just commerce for themselves, or are they commerce for other people as well?
I think Apple could create a social network. They could create a mobile social network.
Right.
I don't think they will. They could go into payments. I don't think they will. I think they're a very, very focused company that wants to stick to their knitting. And so
in that light, do you feel like the iPhone is a long-term platform that you think you should be spending a lot of time on, or not?
Yeah, definitely. I think that you got to go where the users and the user experience is, and I think that the user experience on social games on an iPhone is probably better than any other platform combination.
Okay, so Facebook thumbs up, iPhone thumbs up. How about MySpace?
Thumbs up, especially with the new team there. I think I would not count MySpace out of it. I think that you'll see MySpace do some really, really smart things from a strategy point of view and a product point of view. Maybe they'll integrate an FB Connect into it. But look, I think that
I think it's a great idea. I doubt it will happen, but I think it's a good idea.
Well, my take.
Yes, but his point is well taken.
But my take is that when there's someone really smart in the market, you should just assume they will do the smartest thing. So
okay, so how about LinkedIn? Thumbs up or down?
Thumbs up. I think LinkedIn has a massive, massive opportunity to unlock their social map to their own benefit. I think that if LinkedIn.
Do you think they could aim higher, right?
Not that they could aim higher. I just think that they're moving slowly and carefully. They have a highly trusted network and experience.
How about this? Do you think there's an opportunity for someone to come in and do LinkedIn better based on LinkedIn's current pace of development?
No.
Really?
Yeah, I don't. I think I think that LinkedIn has a lock on their market.
First thing I think I disagree with you about tonight, but okay.
I found something.
How about?
But I would say, I'm Reed's biggest fan. I think that they have this opportunity to open up their network in a curated way. I don't think they will just open it, but I think they'll open it and invite services in, and I think that they will see it move their metrics. The one thing I think all platform hosts are going to do more of in the next 18 months is start tracking the metrics that apps drive, because I think when they do, they'll start seeing how apps are a bigger part of their business.
How about Twitter? We haven't really talked about them tonight, but they're certainly on the lips of a lot of folks here. Are you guys looking at that as a platform for distribution or growth? Or?
We definitely are looking at Twitter. We don't know what to make of it. We think there should be something there. Honestly, I wish that Twitter were more commercially focused. So maybe they wouldn't be as successful if they were. So they should probably not listen to me. But if I were Twitter, I would build out my homepage way more so that apps and other services and media can be integrated.
Create a richer ecosystem for apps to play.
Yeah,
although they seem to be doing not too bad on that front, given the size of the company.
Well, but there's no data on the app usage. I would bet that the app usage is actually pretty small on Twitter. I worry that if they don't I think that there's this huge opportunity for portals. No one has created the 2.0 of a portal that goes where Twitter and Facebook so far have, and MySpace, none of them have wanted to go to. And maybe someone could do it and steal the traffic from Twitter. I think Twitter could do it. Until they do it, Facebook is a portal by default, whether they want to be or not. Twitter, not so much.
So I'm going to wrap it up here and let the table take some discussions that we've kind of teed up at this point. But one other question on the platform story. So you sort of had some pessimistic comments, I think, on Google and Microsoft and Yahoo, at least from maybe the portal perspective or the inbox. So is there opportunity that we're missing here based on either IM networks or inbox as a platform? There seems like there's a lot of social data there that no one's taking advantage of.
Yeah, and I'd say I'm optimistic about Google, MSN, and Yahoo. I think that they have, MySpace proved that plenty of other portals can take advantage of apps, and I think on any of those networks, I think that they could have explosive growth. So I'm optimistic. I definitely think, totally agree with you. I think that instant messaging is not only this lost, massive, latent opportunity, but I think if AOL, Yahoo, MSN, if they don't do something with instant messaging soon, it's just going to go away. I think if you think about it, the idea of something telling you that a friend of yours is online right now is like telling you they're breathing. Or it's like Dave's at his cell phone right now. Like, thank you. But instant messaging, if you added presence with it, would be really cool. Because I don't even want to call anybody anymore because I just know I'm interrupting them or bothering them, and I don't like getting calls. But if something told me that somebody was in an activity like a game that I could connect with them in a way that didn't interrupt or bother them, that would be cool. So that would, I think, give a whole new life to IM.
Well, I think we're going to end the conversation there, at least for our discussion, but I want to encourage the table discussions to kind of continue it. I'm fascinated. Any last thoughts about this idea around social commerce or viral commerce and how that plays into Zynga's business over the next couple of years? That you'll be willing to share with us?
Well, the only reason I won't share it is I don't have any good ideas on it. I
doubt that's true.
Well, my first prediction will be people have kind of counted the lead gen and the CPA out because it started off too spammy, but I'll remind everyone, not that you need me to remind you, but that Google CPC started off mainly used by lead gen, and in cable TV, all local advertising was lead gen, it was infomercials. So the first groups to take advantage of a new medium usually are the direct response lead gen because they can monetize it. I do think that you're going to see the idea of lead gen in social networks start to compete with Google for customer acquisition, for relationship acquisition. I think you'll see Amazons and eBays realizing that in a scalable way, they can acquire 1 million new customer relationships a day through that, where no, it's not as good as someone typing in, buy books, but they're done with those. So that would be the obvious prediction.
Do you think any of Amazon, eBay, or Apple acquires a social network?
No, I don't think they need to. I think that they will have so much opportunity to just be buying their traffic on social networks, they're not going to need to bother.
All right, well, thanks, Mark, for the conversation, and we'll dive into the table discussion. Just note again for those who are new, this conversation is on the record and actually streamed live.
Oh, it is?
Via Ustream. The table conversations are off the record by default, except for Mark's table, where VentureBeat and GigaHome will be.
Great.
But just again, so default is conversation is not public at the table unless you state otherwise. So if you're a startup looking for advice, funding, etc., just be careful about that. How many people are working on new businesses right now? Raise your hands. Great. You guys are the stars of the conversation tonight. Moderators, please help make sure those people's stories are known and emphasized at each table. And let's dive on in. Great. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot for having me.